us from Command N. Let's just take a little clip for those of you who don't know the show. We've been doing it since 2005, as Jeff mentioned, and has grown a lot from there. This week on Command N, reinventing Napster, selling the great American novel, and sourcing the next Simpsons. So the show has really evolved over the past few years. And we've built up a pretty good community online as well. You'll notice we have new motion graphics, the quality of our video is much better, and in just 4 years, we started doing the show on an iSight camera on a MacBook, and I edited it in my iMovie, which was a really scary thing, because that's not really my forte. Now I picture I need that car, the Forte, beside me. Sorry, bad joke. Okay, we also have been involved in Web Nation. Chris and I did Web Nation at Citytv, which was a weekly show all about the web and all about internet news. So here's a high-tech search for a world-class adventurer. A 9/11 conspiracy movie gets the Hollywood treatment. You're watching Web Nation for the second week in September. So needless to say, together we all have a lot of video experience in our background. So I'm going to be talking about content and networking. So here we go. Content is king. The most important thing when producing video is to find your passion. For us, it was technology. For you, it might be something different. Now, right now, you're probably wondering, and these guys are wondering, why is there a miniature horse on the screen? I added that photo in at the last minute. Because when I worked at Tech TV a few years ago, I actually reviewed this website about miniature horses. And this guy had created this online presence all about miniature horses. And at first, I just laughed a little bit, because let's face it, miniature horses are kind of funny. And but when he went to the site, he had so much content there, and you could just tell this guy was so passionate about miniature horses that you found yourself reading about this type of content. So if you're producing video on the web, the most important thing is to find your passion. It doesn't have to be miniature horses, but it might be something else. Also, E squared, education by entertainment. So I think times entertainment. One of the most important things when you're producing content on the web is to entertain people, but you also want to educate them. Whereas with television, I think people tend to watch television as passive viewers. They may want to just be entertained. I personally feel as though on the web, people really want to be educated more. Also, engage your audience. So you want to show your blog comments, and you also want to request audio or video feedback. This is a way to really engage your viewership, and we do this a lot in Command N. Now, distribution. I think one of the things that really helped with Command N to make us successful is that we released on a regular schedule. So the show comes out every week, and it's been coming out now for almost 4 years. So this really helped our fans understand that you can expect to get our video on this day. It may not come out at the same time all the time, but it helped us to build up that audience. Because I think when a lot of people get into web video and producing a show on the web, they tend to be a little bit lazy with their distribution schedules and not really do the show every week. But with us, we really try to bring it together, make sure that we get the show out every week so that people can depend on getting it in their inbox. As far as distribution, one of the most important places to be if you're doing a show is in the iTunes Music Store. So if you're doing a video podcast, you definitely want to be listed there. Now, if you're doing any other types of videos, one of the most important places to be is obviously on YouTube. Flip.tv is also a great place to be. Vimeo.com is an excellent site if you're doing HD video. Chris may talk about that a little bit. And also Tube Mobile is this fantastic service that you may or may not have heard about, which allows you to distribute videos to multiple video platforms. So Chris does this when he produces Command N and he pushes it out. He actually takes it to Tube Mobile, and that sends it to all these other video sites. So it's a great way to really reduce the amount of time that you're spending on uploading your video to all of these different sites. And I know it probably has its ups and downs, maybe a lot of downs, but there are more and more of these services online that really help you reduce the amount of time you're taking on uploading videos, because video, it is very time consuming from the very beginning to the very end, but you can reduce that.
And this is obviously one of the spaces where, the web has come through and allowed even, the production costs have come down a lot in terms of producing the content, but the distribution side of this, there was just no way to do it previous to the web. So now you've got this opportunity, and we've seen sort of what it's created through all these new distribution streams.
Can everybody hear in the back? Can you guys hear okay? Okay, good. I just want to make sure. All right. So on the networking side, and we can talk a little bit more about this in our Q&A, but if you're putting video on the web, you obviously want to try to engage as many people as possible to go out and watch those videos. One of the best things to do when you're building community and we did this with Command N from the very beginning, is we would have meetups, we would ask people to come get together in a social environment, and whether it's 5 or 10 people or a few hundred people, it really helps you to build up that community. Also, engage other people who are producing videos online. So if you are doing a show like a video podcast, it helps to connect with other people who are in the same area, who are doing the same type of video podcasts. Now, I'll give you an example. When we started, we connected with a lot of the video podcasters, some of the guys from Revision 3, from Hack 5, and we really tried to connect with them and promote their video podcasts on our show. So that helped us to build community at the very beginning. Now, on the social networking side of things, how many people here are on Twitter? Holy.
How's coming here on it right now?
Wow. Say good things about us. I speak at a lot of events, but I've never seen so many hands go up. That is absolutely phenomenal. So obviously, you really want to promote your video on Twitter and other social networking sites. There becomes easier ways to do that all the time. One thing I wanted to mention here is a service called Hootsuite. Some of you may know it, but if you don't, what it is a service that allows you to measure how many people are clicking on the link that you put out on Twitter. So let me give you an example. For Command N, let's say the most recent episode, 180, I want to put that link on my Twitter feed. So I go into Hootsuite, I log in, and I create a unique URL. So that's a link that will go up onto Twitter that I can measure. So I can measure all the stats of the people who have clicked on that URL. Now, I can find out what geographic location they're coming from, which is very cool. I can find out how many people have clicked on that link. So this really helps me to measure the traffic to that specific video link. So Hootsuite is one of these newer services. It's actually a Canadian company who created Hootsuite that allows us to measure how many people are viewing our videos. I would argue, and Jeff may get into this, but one of the best things about producing video online versus distributing video in a traditional way, like on television, is that you can actually have these really fantastic stats. And that really helps you if you're trying to sell your videos, but also prove that they've been successful online. So Hootsuite is a good place to start with that. Okay, we're going to talk more about all of this, but I'm going to pass it over to Chris. He's our technical guy, so he makes the show look good. It makes me look good. Thank you.
That's not difficult. Hi, everybody. All right, so I don't want to make this boring because technical stuff and talking about the in-depths of this, that, and the other thing. So we're just going to spend the next 15 minutes discussing some aspect ratios. No, I'm totally kidding. I'm lying. No, I'm just here to say a little bit about, maybe just demystify some stuff when people think about video and they get into it, like, oh my god, I'm not a TV station. Nowadays, technically, you kind of can be, and for relatively cheaply. The entry cost, even 10 years ago, it would be 100,000, and today it's 10. So this obviously is a simple list, and the only reason I have it up there is because it's actually ordered in number of importance. Camera. Number 1. Awesome, if you do it that way. And microphone will be number 2. So if you're going to go out there and you want to do a podcast, before you set up a green screen or think about lights or do anything, as soon as you get a camera, and it doesn't matter what camera it is, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but it doesn't matter what camera it is, think, I need a microphone, and then you're off and running. So let's just talk a little bit about, a little in-depth a little bit. Once you get some of these things, she'll go back real quick. As I said, in order of importance, camera, microphone, tripod, you want to make your video as steady as possible. There's a couple reasons for that. It's easier to watch, so you're not like seeing people on a boat when they're standing in the street. And it also compresses better when you go later to compress it because trees in the wind or horizontal axes and stuff kind of going up and down takes more time and more crunching power. It makes a bigger file. It's harder to RAM, this, that, and the other thing, lots of technical stuff. But generally try to keep it as steady as possible. And when I say tripod, a table will work, cradling something properly, breathing calm and then holding it, that kind of thing. Keep it as steady as possible.